The high hang clean, both above and below the knee. The high hang clean is the second teaching progression I will use when teaching the clean. After a lifter has grasped how to move and catch the bar from the hip, this drill can be used to teach them how to utilize the hip hinge to transfer into the second pull from a lower position. We will look at some stills from the sides, some bar tracking, some slow motion video, and some demos with and without weight from the front and the side so you can appreciate better what is happening in this exercise. First of all, we will look at the hang clean from above the knee. There are two versions of this exercise, the first of which is the hang clean above the knee. To start, the lifter should grasp the bar using a hook grip at roughly front squat width. Then standing up, they should start with the shoulders behind the bar, loose arms, standing bolt upright with bent knees, chest out, and have their hips in their jumping position. To initiate the movement, they should hinge backwards at the hip, push their weight back under their heels, placing the shoulders in front of the bar and hang the bar slightly out in front. Do not run the bar down the thigh. They should continue this for about 3/4 of the length of their thigh. Then reversing the movement, they should sweep the bar back into the hip, beginning to re-accelerate the bar. When they feel the bar at the crease of the hip or back at where they started, they should explode upwards, pushing their hips through the bar, knees through the floor, driving themselves up onto the ball of their foot, and driving their head up and shrugging up violently. The lifter should then move to receive the bar in a front squat, moving the feet out slightly to facilitate a squat catch, and pulling themselves under the bar. The depth of the catch will be determined by the weight of the bar, with heavier weights being caught in a deeper squat position. Before you start to teach lifters how to do this exercise, if you spend some time with them, teach them how to properly front squat and stiff leg deadlift, it can make the transition from one to the other much easier for them. However, you appreciate that you don't have the time with everybody to do this. Also, some weight on the bar will help them appreciate better what they're doing. When the bar is too light, you can do pretty much whatever you want with it, as in you can just pick it up with your hand. Whereas if there's some weight on it, enough weight, not too much weight, and not too little, they get better feedback as to how to move the bar and can make the learning process much smoother. Next, we're going to move on to hang clean from below the knee. So the high hang clean to below the knee is pretty much an identical exercise to the hang clean, except you have one adjunct that you're taking the bar to mid-shin. To achieve this, you carry the stiff leg deadlift down to the kneecap. Once you reach the kneecap, then you initiate a squat, sitting into the heel. Keep your shoulders in front of the bar the entire way. Keep your arms loose, chest out, and then you move back up. To move back up to the hip, just reverse the process you've just done. Sweep the bar into the hip the whole time. When you feel the bar at the hip, same coaching points apply. Rapidly extending hips through the bar, knees through the floor, come up onto the balls of your feet through the center. Shrug up, and then once you reach that position, pull yourself back under the bar. This drill is an excellent way to teach people how to clean from the floor. I wouldn't even bother trying to teach the clean from the floor up. If you start from the top down, and they can know how to stiff leg deadlift and know how to front squat, then they can work it out in pretty short order. Again, similar with the hang clean, you might want to start off with a pull, then a clean. And also you might want to start into a power clean, moving into a squat clean. Like I mentioned in the previous video, it's my preference to go straight into squat clean, but that's not applicable for everybody. Now we have a general appreciation for what we're doing. We're just going to slow it down a little bit and look at some stills. So it's the start position, that's the bottom of the hang, and from there, going to move into the pull. This is the position you want to pull from in the clean, right against the hip, torso vertical, and then extend through the bar. Once you've extended through the bar, you start to move. You don't even shrug, in effect, you pull yourself under. So as you see from there, I'm starting to move into my squat, catch it in a power, and then write it down. This is the bar path. As you'll see, the bar comes towards the lifter in the hang, and then moves away, and then comes back to center. This is probably a little bit out in front. You probably want the apex of that curve to be bang on center. This is at 21% speed, so you can just appreciate what we've been talking about. Bar's hanging out in front, reach the kneecap, initiate the squat, and then just reverse what you're doing, come back up, sweep the bar back in the hip, extend violently through it, and then pull yourself back under. That was probably a little bit forward. Three problems you're probably going to come across when doing this drill with yourself and others. First one is very similar to the stiff leg deadlift, where people don't hinge back at the hip and hang the bar out in front. They squat with the bar and just run it down their thighs. And this should be, if you do stiff leg first, then you hopefully won't come into that problem. It's only if you go straight into this exercise with people that you'll come across that pretty much inevitably. The next one's pulling with the arm too early. This just makes the transfer of power into the bar much less fluid as you try and transfer through a stiff arm as opposed to a loose arm. And the third one's probably the most important, I think, and that's pulling too early. So you see people pulling like halfway down the thigh or even at the kneecap. Get them away from that as much as possible. Emphasize them as much as you can, pulling at the hip and keeping the bar close. If you can just get that one thing through them, then everything else should fall into place. Okay, that concludes our tutorial today. As always, any questions or any comments, leave them in the comment section or send them to the email address provided in the description. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.